the barometer is not just with the volume, but the quality or what I bring into a film. And you should feel excited that, oh, if it's Yami's film, let's give it a shot. But to clarify, no, it is not a sequel of any kind to a Wednesday. The fact, that I love coming home, and if Aditya is there, I just love that. Earlier I would walk in home. I would wait when Mama, Papa or Surili would come home from Chandigarh and they would be with me or my brother. But now my family is like fully here. So that's the best feeling. This is where another difference is, that people like, or actors like myself, will have to prove again and again with every film. It takes time. And it takes time.
Hi everyone, this is Avinash Lohana and you're watching Pink Villa. We have a very special guest with us today. Her next movie is releasing on a Thursday. Last year, she got married on a Friday and she's finally doing an interview with me on a Saturday. Please welcome Yami Gautam.
Wow, that is such a cool introduction. Thank you, Avinash. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I've worked hard on it.
I can see that.
A Thursday's trailer has received a lot of love. And it is powerful and it is very, very impactful. That are the two words that how I describe the trailer. Do you remember the first moment or that moment when you were offered the script first? Your first reaction?
Yes. Now it's going to be quite weird if I say it was on a Thursday.
Really?
No, it wasn't. I don't remember.
Sure.
But it was in 2020. We were in the first wave of lockdown. So when I got the script for the first time, it came from RSVP. Again, it's a very credible production, and I think Ronnie's backed some really good scripts in the past. I worked with, of course, Ronnie on Uri, yes. And मुझे लगा हाँ बिल्कुल, और मैं सब कुछ पढ़ती हूँ. जो भी मेरे पास स्क्रिप्ट आती है मुझे पढ़ना अच्छा लगता है. I never just dismiss anything unless कई बार आपको synopsis में लगता है कि नहीं, I'm very sure that this is not something I want to do, but I read everything. So I read and I just couldn't stop. I just was just like flying literally from one page to the other, and I wanted to know what happens. And by the time I finished it, there was such array of emotions that I felt as a person, I felt as an actor. And I called Behzad. We did the call and I said, I have to say it's one of the best scripts that have come so far, that have come my way, and I want to be a part of this. When you're doing a thriller, of course, another aspect is you want to make minimum mistakes or no mistakes. You're constantly looking for that logical loophole somewhere, that ये नहीं होना चाहिए, ये थोड़ा cover होना चाहिए, ये all those technical things. But I didn't have many, and you're anyway always subject to discussion. That discussion goes on even till the time when you're shooting something. And especially when you obviously know the script, you overthink a little more on those aspects. So I said, I don't have many things to say on the logical bit of it. But most importantly, what stayed with me about a Thursday was Naina's story, was Naina's journey. What you've seen and watched in the trailer, and I'm very thankful for the response that it's got. That's one aspect of it. That's, it's thriller, it's thrilling, it's psychological drama and all that. But it's got an undertone of a lot more than what you just watched.
Sure. Your character Naina is very evidently trying to prove a point through the acts that she's doing in the film. Which also reminds you of a Thursday's predecessor, which is a Wednesday. How do you react to these comparisons then?
Were you tempted to use the word spiritual sequel? This is one word that I've read, by which I've come across.
Spiritual sequel? What is that?
Yeah, I have no idea. That's just a way to say that is it a sequel? A spiritual sequel. I'm saying it's a very fascinating one.
It is.
To make it very clear, talking about a Wednesday, again, which Ronnie bagged and Needed Sir directed, and one of the best written scripts, one of the best made scripts. The story, the screenplay, the performances. It was a path-breaking film for that time.
Yes.
I think the obvious reason why people are feeling, is it a spiritual, sequel, is the title. And the fact that, of course, it's Ronnie who's backing a Thursday as well. But to clarify, no, it is not a sequel of any kind to a Wednesday. And I would really request, if whoever watches this film, this especially it goes out to the media fraternity, please watch it for the film it is. It is not a sequel to a Thursday. There's no need for this film to be, sequel of a Wednesday, because it's already a cult film. Why would you want to again, set out and create something or anticipate that and open and just open up a discussion to which has no end and
Yeah.
it's absolutely subject to your perspective. As somebody who's been a part of the film, as somebody who's written the film, directed and backed this film, you would want this film to be experienced for what it is. You like
Yeah.
it, you don't like it, absolutely your choice. But we wouldn't want that to happen, because
Yeah.
that won't be the correct way to view a film.
Yeah.
Why would two people want to make, why would anyone else like to make something which should remind people of already a film which was, for all the right reasons, hugely popular and very critically acclaimed. So to just put it in blank, point blank thing, please watch a Thursday for the film it is. Okay.
Sure. Yami, I've known you for a while and I've seen your journey also very closely. So I'm really, really happy of the work or the films or the scripts that is coming your way. On 13th April 2012, Vicky Donor released, which means this year you mark a 10 years journey in the Hindi film business. It's been quite a joyride, and I've seen that up close and personal. But I want to ask you, how has this journey been for you? How do you look at all the ups and downs that came your way in all these years?
I think they were important. They were important for when you are going through a certain phase. You feel, no, it's not important. We could do without it. Why is this important? I started my career with, a film like that. I thought I proved my mettle as an actor, what kind of films I want to do or what potential I hold. There are a lot of whys and what and how and a lot of things. But as you grow in life, you realize, no, things are much more beyond than just this world, which can be really consuming. And I need to work on my horizon. I need to work on my choices, I need to understand myself more and have more clarity on what I want to do. We all know by this time, you had multiple interviews with everybody. We've spoken before that this is a place where things are not predictable. Things cannot be, although that's life, nothing is predictable. We're sitting here still in COVID this was not predicted. So aapko pata hai, it's not, but no one tells you. No one tells you here. No profession is easy. Everything comes with its own pros and cons. But here the predictability is a little higher because your work is dependent on somebody else's discretion or decision, and the decision could be based on anything.
Yeah.
Not necessarily just your potential or just your talent. So that's not in your hands.
Yeah.
That's the difference. That's the main difference. So once you understand that, and then you have to move on. You have to move on. And for me, it was so important to work on myself, to be open to all sorts of scripts, to be open to reading everything, whatever comes my way, to be open to roles which no one would thought ki acha, she can do it, or and take that opportunity and make the most use of it, like which is what happened with Bala.
Yeah.
And look for characters. The whole conversation of this, ye lead, ye protagonist, वो सब बहुत बात की बात है.
Yes.
Today, if something does well, or a film does well, or if you're lauding an actor, that's because he or she has convinced you that as that character, right? So many times it's happening now. There's so many actors in one film, but there are certain actors only that stand out.
Yeah.
Because the characters were also written in a certain way, and the performance also happened in a certain way. So I was like, I have to look for that.
Yeah.
It's fine. It doesn't matter. ठीक है, Uri में, I know the film was primarily about the operation that happens, but here is a director who's giving me an opportunity to again do something different, which I've which people don't think of me often as that, that no nonsense officer and whatever films at that time I'd done so far.
Yeah.
And I want to be a part of a brilliant script. I want to be a part of this. So I think all that work. So you need to, in short, you also need to work somewhere and adapt to what's the best for you and understand what you want to do here.
Yeah.
And then make a place for yourself and work towards your goal, that I want to reach a place where my identity or my importance in this place should not be replaceable, should not be dependent on who my male counterpart is in a certain film. If I'm being cast only in certain films, only then that's called success. No. Today, no, that's not the same.
Sure.
So it's great to be doing films, I think, at this time, where you can give voice to your choices. You can wait for good scripts.
Yeah.
You work with directors. That whole thing, wo jo ho jata hai na, expectation ka. Of course, there's so many directors you want to work with, but that just doesn't happen overnight. You have to make way slow and steady those opportunities and keep proving yourself again and again, film after film, that which can be tedious कि नहीं मैंने पिछली फिल्म में उसमें ऐसा किया था, उस तो क्या हुआ अगर एक और फिल्म वैसी नहीं हुई, but नहीं. This is where another difference is, that people like, or actors like myself, will have to prove again and again with every film. It takes time, and it's all right. It's all right. You need patience and resilience to be here.
Sure. The most funniest reaction that came to a Thursday is from Aditya, who said, "Suddenly I'm scared to share a home with you." It was really funny.
That's when you know you're married to a writer director.
Exactly. And I'm actually just coming to that. Is he like, does he look at your work objectively? Does he give you feedback, or you all don't discuss that aspect at all?
Half part of your question you should ask him when you speak to him. And discussions, yes. I love discussions, and so does Aditya. He loves exchanging ideas. We love music. We love watching films, every kind of film. And we love discussion. He's not read any of my scripts, but he's aware of all the films that I did last year. He's aware of what I'm going to be doing next. I'm aware of what scripts he's working on, and we discuss, and it's okay to have different opinion on certain things. Not on everything there has to be, like on a set, there'll be times where you feel you want to tell your director that, no, I feel my character should react this way, or let's add this and that. Some things they'll agree if it makes sense to the film, and some things, no, it doesn't work out. So it's always, in the end, it's always the director's narrative. But for Aditya, the most important thing that was reinstated for me as an actor was that you need to start thinking like a director, in the sense that you've got to think and participate in the process of filmmaking. It's not just about I come and I perform that character and I go away. You have to be I love being involved in the script. I want to know what's happening, how it's being shot. I want to be invested in the scene. And a scene is never made with one character. How my co-actor is reacting, or is it something that I can do better or he can do better? You should be open to all these things.
Absolutely.
And when you're open to these things, and I've seen Aditya do that really well with his team, and I've been fortunate enough that of late that the directors I've worked with, they're all really open about discussions.
Lovely.
And which is important. This is an ideal team for me. It's not about cracking jokes or pulling each other's leg or apne. That's okay. That's one aspect of it. But what's more important, when you have the freedom to be what you think. Some points can be funny. Some points can be like, ask this question, it'll make me look like a fool. It's okay, it's fine. Make a fool of yourself, but ask.
Correct.
So we discuss everything. And when I didn't know he's going to put out that. He just came quiet. He said, "Did you read?" I said, "What that is it? Are you?"
Oh, sweet. But has anything changed after June 4, 2021?
My home.
And
the fact, that I love coming home, and if Aditya is there, I just love that. Earlier I would walk in home. I would wait when Mama, Papa or Surili would come home from Chandigarh, and they would be with me or my brother. But now My family is like fully here, so that's the best feeling. No matter what kind of day you had, you know you're going to come back home to your family. I
Yeah.
think that's the best feeling.
Lovely. One last question I'll ask you. You have a great lineup of films ahead. There is a Thursday, there is Dhoomdham, there is OMG 2, there is Lost, and I'm sure I'm missing one or two films
There's
also.
there's one more, but that's okay. That let them announce that. We've already shot that.
Oh, acha.
Quite a fun film, but very bad way to describe a film. Fun film. What is fun film? But it was quite interesting. That will announce soon.
Do you think you're finally getting your due now as an actress? Because you're shouldering these films on your own self, and kudos to you for that.
Thank you, Avinash. And I just hope that people feel that they're good films. I'm happy, with the volume of work. Okay, that's okay. But I think more than volume, it should always be a good quality and different from one another. Of course, every time to get it right or that you're in sync with the audience is beyond you. I don't think anyone can predict that. But I just hope the barometer is not just with the volume, but the quality or what I bring into a film. And you should feel excited that, if it's Yami's film, let's give it a shot. Must be something something good in it. And it takes time to build that audience for yourself. I think journalists like yourself have always been very kind to me. There have been so many times where I've heard, Yami, we really root for you. We want you to, why don't you do more films? Are you so choosy? They used to think I'm choosy. And I don't know what I used to answer back then. I must be like, I'm choosy, but I'm not. I didn't have any good options. That used to make me feel happy. When you feel happy when someone says that, you started off so well. We want you to do well. So there were always audience and certain section from media who were very supportive and were really rooting. I hope I'm doing justice to everything by doing these films. And there will be mistakes. There will be times where things won't work or not work. But I'll not stop. My effort will be on. And I'll continue doing that.
Fab. More power to you on that note. Thank you so much, Yami. This was a lovely conversation. I wish you all the best for Thursday.
Thank you, Avinash. Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye.